Hello, everyone. This is Tammy Fisher within the Doll World, and I'm here today with my wonderful co-host, Miss Georgette Taylor. Hello, Miss Georgette.
Hey, everybody.
Miss Georgette.
Hey, Georgette.
And today, our special guest is Andrea Collum. Hello, Miss Andrea.
Hello, ladies. I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to have you.
Happy to have you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Andrea is a repainter and a doll customizer. I refer to Andrea as the queen of the Poppy Parker because she does so many Poppy Parker dolls. So that's
Thank
my
you.
introduction to her, and I have been following Andrea for years, and I'm excited to speak to her and introduce you to her, and let's talk about her doll journey. So
Well, thank
Yes.
yeah,
you.
Andrea, thank you for joining us, and tell us your doll journey. Where did it begin?
Well, I'm a Barbie girl from way back. I'm 65 years old, so I'm like
Wow.
probably got my first doll in 1959. And I remember it was a brunette ponytail that was in the airline stewardess outfit.
Mhm.
And I will never forget it because my favorite part of that whole thing was the little zipper bag that came with it. I was like, oh, a coin purse. Then the doll went over there. But eventually I came back to it. I loved that doll. I absolutely loved it. I carried her to kindergarten with me. She went to first grade with me every day.
Wow.
And when I was old enough to get an allowance, I would save my little 15, 25 cents, 50 cents a week allowances. And every bit of it went into getting a new Barbie doll in whatever hair color, whatever configuration it came in. And I was an Air Force brat. And when I first started collecting, we actually lived in Tokyo, in Japan. And think of it, I could have had all those the Japanese originals. I was there. Some things you just want to shoot yourself over. But I remember and they would be at our PX where I lived. The Barbies would be right next to the cash register, $2 a doll, and I would save up until I got my $2, and I would go through that little stack and pick out whichever one I didn't have.
Well, that's a good
And
one.
I had amassed quite a collection probably by the time we left Japan. I was 10 years old, and I probably had a good 15 Barbies then. And
Wow.
what really fascinated me about them was the original Barbie, the vintage clothes, how beautifully they were made. Because my
Mm.
mom was a seamstress, and I paid it, and I used to watch her sew, and then I could look at those dolls and like these are real people clothes.
Hmm.
Just even then, I knew the difference between Playline and what these actually were. I could recognize them as works of art. And I love those dolls. I mean, and I really probably carried on with them a little bit longer than I should have with that, but it was mostly because of the styles of the clothing and everything else. But the one stupid thing I did, I think when I was about 15 years old, I was babysitting a little girl named Ginger Taylor. And Ginger's mother went out every night. And Ginger and I would play with my Barbie dolls. I would take my Barbies over there. She was about maybe 5 years old, about the same age I was when I
Mhm.
got my first Barbie. And she loved those dolls so much. I gave her every single Barbie that I had.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful
Wow.
story.
Yeah. And I'm shooting myself in the head. I mean, I know for sure that I gave her a white ginger. It was like I remember getting that doll and with the gown and all of this, but I gave her probably a good $10,000 worth of dolls. When she was 5
Wow.
years old
Yeah,
at the time.
because you
And
just didn't know,
I didn't know.
and
Nobody
they
knew
brought
that
her so
they
much
brought me
pleasure.
joy and they brought
Yes,
her joy. I mean,
Yeah.
with the I mean everything, the carrot, the case,
yes,
the furniture, everything. Here, Ginger baby, you need it because she was calling me mommy. What are you going to do? I
yes.
Yeah.
spent more
That
I
was
spent more
beautiful.
time with her than her mother did. So, and I was 15 years old, and I was I'm too old for this. But here, you know, you have this. We'll continue
Yeah.
to play Barbies until one of us dies. So apparently, I'm going to be playing Barbies until I die. But and for years after that, I kind of let it go, and I probably didn't have another doll in my life until it was Christmas 1994. That was kind of a pivotal year for me. Nope, Christmas 93. My husband got me a porcelain doll for Christmas. And it was the
Mm.
cutest little girl doll with the curly ringlet hair and the little pinafore and everything. And I thought she was so pretty. And I decided I was going to collect porcelain dolls. after that. And so I was buying porcelain dolls. You know how we are when we're obsessive about having our dolls. And I was obsessively buying porcelain dolls like I buy other dolls now. And my husband had brought it up to me. He was like, you could make these a lot cheaper than you're buying them for. Because he knew I was, hundreds just right out the door,
Yeah.
on these dolls. So that was when I kind of started. I signed up to take porcelain doll classes, and I went all the way through the master class with the
Oh.
Seeley's program that they had. And so I learned how to do porcelain dolls. I still have my kiln. I still have slip out there. I could, if I could do it, I could actually go, make a complete set of porcelain dolls today. But because of what happened later on, I can't go back into porcelain.
Mm.
And and then even after that, I had stopped when I had eye surgery in 2011. They told me I couldn't get porcelain dust in my eyes anymore, so I kind of put it aside. And I had the LASIK surgery, and it was really about
Mhm.
protecting my 20/20 vision at that point because I'd been blind as a bat all of my life. And so after that, then in 2013, that was kind of when everything really went on its head. On March 21st, 2013, I had just left a job. I had quit a job and was getting ready to start looking for another job. And March 21st, I couldn't breathe. I was sitting here in my living room and suddenly I could not breathe. And I knew something was really badly wrong. I called 911. Well, first I called my doctor's office and I said, I can't breathe. And they said, why are you talking to us? Call 911 right now.
Mhm.
And called 911. The ambulance got here. I had to put my makeup on, brush my teeth, and get dressed before I would let them take them anywhere. But come to find out, once they got me in the ambulance, I had a collapsed lung.
Oh
And
wow.
I literally could not breathe. I remember the girl saying, I'm not getting any ear sounds on your right side. And my right lung had completely collapsed.
Wow.
And so we went to a hospital that was close by, but wasn't a trauma hospital. They needed care, but they had to intubate me. They had to go into the side, poke a
Mm.
hole in the chest and everything with no anesthesia, no nothing. Just we're going to poke a hole in your
Oh
side. And my husband
wow.
had met me at the hospital, and they were like, "Sir, you can't be in here." And he was like, "You try to keep me out of here." And he said he held my hands while they stuck a tube in me with no kind of local anesthetic or anything.
Mm.
Got me to Providence Hospital, which is a heart hospital downtown, and they had they'd put me on a breathing machine. They did all kinds of stuff, and eventually they reinflated the lung, and they did pleurodesis, which is basically when they go in with talc and glue the lung to the wall of your chest so that it can never collapse again.
Hmm.
Oh.
So, and then reinflated my lung, but it wouldn't stay inflated. It kept collapsing, collapsing, collapsing. So they wound up doing a PET scan and found out that I had cancer, or that what looked like cancer in the top of the right lobe of my right lung. And they
Mm.
wound up actually doing a lobectomy. They took the lobe out.
Mm.
And
Okay.
when they did that, they got the cancer. But during this time, I had been really sick, with not being able to breathe, with trying to recuperate from 3 surgeries, from all of this and everything else. My husband, when they first told me I had lung cancer, they told me, "You've got lung cancer. You're going to have to go undergo chemotherapy. You're going to lose your hair." And I have a thing about my hair. I did not want to lose my hair. But I thought, well, I'm going to get through this, but I'm not going to do it alone. And I just obsessed about getting a fashion queen Barbie. I thought I can get a Barbie that can wear wigs with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I got myself
Mm.
a clown wig. I got myself a couple of other wigs and tried to find a clown wig for my Barbie, but I couldn't. But while I was doing this, my husband had actually been going behind my back and buying Barbies off of eBay. And while I was messing with my little bit, he had actually recreated my childhood Barbie collection.
That's
Oh,
beautiful.
that is so
He, I
beautiful.
have the best husband in the
Yeah. Oh
world.
my
I
goodness.
really do. Because he had heard me,
Oh.
talking about, oh, I gave my Barbies to Ginger and I had this one and this one. And I go on eBay and I had that one. I used to have that one and that one. And so he knew which ones to get. But he had actually recreated my childhood Barbie collection.
That's beautiful.
And
Oh.
it was really funny because it was like the cancer was gone, but the doll stayed.
Mm.
And once that started, it was like, and I started getting older dolls. You start looking on eBay, and I thought, let me look at and see if I can do some beat up dolls because I'd already done the porcelain dolls. the painting and all of that. And I thought, maybe I can do something with these Barbie dolls. So I started getting some of the older beat up Barbie dolls that, needed a new face, needed new hair, needed, just to play with. And wound up forming my group, my Facebook group that y'all are on, the Magical Misfits. And it's basically all about getting misfit dolls fit again, making them pretty and bringing them back to the memories that we had of them in our childhood was kind of how it started. And that group's gone from there. But, from then I got into Barbies, and I mean, I can't tell you how many Barbies I've redone. And then somebody flipped a switch on me and told me about integrity dolls. That was when I went just full scale. I'm really into this now, and that's when I really got into the repainting as an artistic endeavor. And y'all know, I'm just addicted to Poppy, but I really love
Miss Poppy.
I love me a Poppy Parker, because she was my teen years. I was in my teens during her time frame, during her timeline. So everything that Poppy Parker has as an outfit, I had a version of.
Okay.
Literally. So it's like I'm reliving my teen years through Poppy Parker and that whole mod and hippie era, because I, flip flop between both those phases too.
Yeah,
so that's
really cool.
That's how I kind of got into that, and I've just been kind of stuck there ever since. And I've been really lucky that when I do post my dolls online, that people like them, and it makes me happy, to be appreciated as a doll artist, because I sure started off. I couldn't find a picture of the first few dolls that I did, but they were awful because they were really, really bad. Because with porcelain paint, you can move the paint around before you fire the porcelain. You can actually move it around. It doesn't die. It doesn't dry in place. You can play with it and get it how you want it, and then you can add more medium to it and move it around. So I had to learn how to translate the skills from porcelain paint to acrylic paint. In oil, and it did not go well for a year. For at least a year, and trying to had to add color back in and do all the stuff that I eventually, you kind of, if you figure I've got this doll head that's crap anyway, it's not worth anything, and if I can take it and make it into something that can be appreciated, then it still may not be worth anything, but now it's a usable thing and somebody can appreciate it. So that's kind of where I took that.
That's cool. I want to ask you a question before we get too far.
Sure.
You started with porcelain. And you said you made them. Did you sell the porcelain dolls?
I did. I actually had my webpage was Andrea's Angels, and I did, and I eventually had to stop because I don't know if I misnamed it or whatever, but people were wanting me to do dolls of their departed children.
Oh.
And I think the one that actually broke me, it was a mother, she hired me to do a doll of her 15-year-old boy who was shot in the crossfire of a gang shooting in Georgia. He was 15. He was a Bulldogs fan. She wanted him in bulldog gear. He played the cello. So I got a violin that was the right size to be his cello, but it broke my heart to do that doll. It absolutely broke my heart, and she loved it. It looked just like him. She was thrilled to death with it, but it just broke me. It just really did. And I loved doing them, but it just, when it got to where I was crying every time I was doing a doll, because it was in memoriam of a dead child. It just got to be too much with that. And that was around the same time that I was like, okay, I need to stop anyway with my eyes.
Okay, so I was going to ask if you just started doing something else or changed the name, but because of your eyes, in addition to that, you stopped making the porcelain dolls.
I had stopped with the porcelain at that point, kind of put them aside. But it's funny how I've just, over my life, I've always come back to them. They're my comfort. It seems like almost every time when I get into difficulty, it's like my dolls are always there. They always smile. They're a little piece of me. They're my Horcruxes.
That's beautiful.
They're my little Horcruxes. But thank you so much.
Yes. So then you did you, when you were doing the Barbies and you got to the Barbies to the point where you could repaint them nicely, did you sell them too?
I sold a few, and
Okay.
especially when I got to the ones where I could actually get a pretty good likeness of some of the rarer Barbies. I was
Okay.
able to, the Sun Francies and the Sun Skippers and things like that. I was able to do a pretty good job on them, and
Okay.
then some that were just never made. Like one of my good customers, I love her to death. They had never made an African American skipper.
Oh, okay.
And she wanted me to do a skipper for her, and that doll turned out gorgeous. She turned out so pretty. So that, and the girl lady's name is Barbie. Hi, Barbie. But she, I mean, she loved that doll. And I think I had done a Francie for her too.
Okay.
I think I had done a Black Francie for her, and then I had done, and in fact, it was a lot of Francies I wound up doing because I was doing a lot of the no bangs Francie, the ones that are just impossible to find. Mine didn't look exactly like them. I didn't want them to because I did not want
Mm-hmm.
anybody to try to pass my dolls off as an original.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my knowledge, nobody ever did. Plus, the ones I
Okay.
were making were never made in the first place. When I did the the hair Francie with the ponytail, I forget what her name is, but I did an African American version of her. That Mattel never made that doll. So
Okay.
I was, things like that.
Okay.
And I had more fun doing the ones that were never ever made than I did trying to duplicate the ones that kind of were made because that made them something unique to the people that were buying them. And most of those were commissions.
Okay.
Okay.
That's cool. And
Thank you.
you're welcome. And then you went into Miss Poppy, who
Oh, God.
from your childhood, from your reminded you of your teenage, and that's where we know you now is the queen of Miss Poppy. Your
Thank you.
poppies are just lovely. Very,
Thank you
they're
so much.
lovely.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They really
How
are.
many
Okay.
how many poppies do you repaint a year? Okay.
Probably, I would say anywhere from 30 to 50.
Okay. That's a good
Wow.
number. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, that is a real
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
number.
because I mean, I can do a poppy head start to finish in an hour.
Wow.
So
Oh.
if I've got them in front of me, I can go until I run out of paint
Okay.
because I love doing it so much.
Okay.
And what I love about that sculptor is that she can be anything because
Mm-hmm.
I've made her into science fiction characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I've made I've turned her into Cleopatra. I have turned her into Naomi Campbell.
Yep.
I,
Mm-hmm.
I have. She is just so versatile, and the way you play with paint, and the way you play with the shapes of the eyes, and even the shapes of the lips to a degree, she's just so versatile. She can be almost anybody,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
really.
Okay. Very
Yeah.
cool.
And I've seen that that's what you've been doing, in more recent years, probably like
Hmm.
maybe like the last year or so.
Yeah,
The sci-fi and
The
your
sci-fi.
deer doll was
my dear
also
dolls.
your
Yeah,
deer
they're nice.
doll.
They're really nice.
Yeah, they're
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
they're
you.
really
I had
nice.
fun doing those. What started me, I had actually seen. It was a video of a song I was watching, and Cernunnos is actually he's a pagan god. He's like a deity in Scotland. He's a Celtic deity that's basically the god of the woods. He's called the Horn God,
Hmm.
and which Christianity eventually turned into the devil, but he was basically Pan, of
Okay.
old times. And
Mm-hmm.
I'd seen a beautiful illustration of that, and I thought I want to duplicate that in a doll. So that's how
Mm-hmm.
the male doll came about. It was actually from an
Okay.
illustration, and the illustrator's name was Andrea. So and I found her on Facebook, and I said, I want to make a doll of your illustration, and she said nobody has ever asked me for permission to use my image before. I
Oh.
was like, well, may I? And she said, absolutely. But people
Oh,
have
that's
been using her
wonderful.
image all over the place and never asked her permission for
Oh.
it. And then
Okay.
I decided he needed a mate, so I wound up making my Poppy version as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're really nice. I
That's how
love that
baby
collection.
Yeah.
came about.
Really unique, and I
Yes.
just love them.
Thank
They're
you.
It's
Yeah.
a really good doll. Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
good.
Thank you. I was
Hmm.
really happy with the way they came. And that had been in the back of my mind for a long time. I just didn't know how, I couldn't get it in my head exactly how I wanted to do it.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
the clothes on those two dolls are actually made from deerskin chamois. So
Okay.
they're leather and they're deerskin.
Yeah, that
So
is pretty cool.
who's the base on the male doll?
Um, shoot, it was one of the, I think it's Lucas. I'm not 100% sure, but it was one of the, it was the red-haired, real pale guy
From
from Integrity.
Integrity. Okay, okay. I just was
Yeah,
wondering.
red
Okay,
hair,
okay.
real pale, and he's not pale anymore.
No, he's not. Not in this.
I
No,
fixed
he's not.
him. He got a
Very
tan.
good.
He's a deer guy now. And
Did you take art before you started painting? Before you started, doing
I
different
dabbled in it
styles
when
of
I was
faces?
younger. I had taken art like in school, and I had taken art classes at the local museum here years and years ago. I was in grade school then, but I've
Mm,
always drawn, and I've always
okay.
dabbled and played in art and done portraits and things like that. So
Okay.
just had a light basic background, but then just years of having a sketchbook and pencils.
Okay.
Kind of,
That's
it's
cool.
just always been my thing.
So, Andrea, tell us about what you plan on doing, because we've seen over the last year or so, you've, really expanded your poppy painting. So,
Hmm.
what do you see for your future? Are you going to go back to the traditional? Or are you going to, do some more?
When I get ahead, when I put it all together, they kind of tell me what they want to be.
Okay.
And
Hmm.
so usually, and it's funny because I'll paint a doll. Like recently, I did like a silver haired version of Poppy
Hmm.
and put her up, and somebody bought that doll. But I had other people saying, well, can you make another? Can you make another? Can you make another? So I wound up ordering more silver haired heads, and I had done a, it's like when I post a picture, people want that doll, and I can't ever give them exactly the same doll because they don't always tell me they're going to want to be the exact same girl that the other girl was. You
Hmm.
know,
Yes.
they tell me who they want to be, and so I will, do my best to fill that order. But usually, people are happy with it. They know that they're going to get something from me, and so as long as I enjoy doing it, and I can't ever see not enjoying it, I'm
Hmm.
going to continue to do it. If people want to buy it, I will sell it to them because I can always make another one.
That's
you
beautiful.
know,
That's true. Yeah.
they
Yeah.
Yeah.
can. I will.
Yeah.
I will sell it to them because I can make me one if I really want it. And one thing that I've really enjoyed doing is that, for me personally, I wasn't able to get a lot of the dolls that have come out recently. I couldn't get. It was like they'd be sold out, and I'm just not willing to pay $700 for a doll that came out last year.
Yeah.
So I have kind of recreated my own versions of several of the poppies that are close enough to the originals to make me happy.
Hmm.
Hmm.
When they did
Hmm.
the hippie line, the IFDC dolls a few years
Hmm.
ago,
Hmm.
I made my own versions of them in every single thing. I made every single doll. I made the entire outfit for one, and then three of my friends actually made the outfits for the other three dolls.
Hmm.
So they're all true labors of love. They're not just dolls that I bought or anything. They're actually labors of love
Right.
that are my versions of those dolls.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I think I sent y'all a picture of them the other day.
Yes.
Yes,
Hmm.
you sent us some
Yes.
pictures. Yes.
Yeah. Do you plan on doing more dolls that are not the Poppy Parker dolls?
Yeah, I was going to say, what I was saying is that, I can make a version of a doll that somebody was unable to get, at least something that would remind them of that doll. And I just I can't overcharge people. It just makes me angry when I see people, because I know how long it takes me to do a doll, and and I know I have to charge for the talent that I have. But
Yes.
I feel guilty if I charge somebody too much, or what I feel I'm not Noel Cruz yet. When I'm Noel, I will charge, or there's so many doll painters that are so much better than me that I aspire to be like, and I hope to learn from,
Hmm.
But it's like I like making people happy with my dolls. I think that, and if my hobby pays for itself, then I'm in a good place.
Hmm.
I don't have to make a lot of money. I just need to be able to continue to do what I love to do.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah.
And that's
That's
my take
cool.
on it. I'll sell enough to make me happy and enough to buy me more poppy heads and more poppy bodies so I can make some more for more people.
Beautiful.
And the thing that I liked about what you said was that even though, when you were talking about making money, because we always talk about a lot of artists, making money doing what it is that they do. If there is a space for a person who's looking to be an artist, because a lot of times we run across this thing where people say, "Oh, I don't want to be an artist because they don't make any money."
Hmm.
But I think a lot of times you have to decide what you want to make from that. right?
Yeah,
Because it's like you said, if it sustains you to continue with your passion, then that's enough money for you. It's
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
not, you don't have
I
to go in
don't.
there and make
I don't
tons and
have to
tons of
make a
money.
fortune. I
You
don't
just
need to
make
make a
what you
fortune.
need,
Mm-hmm.
right? To live the
Hmm.
life that you want. And part of living the life that you want is to be able to create these dolls for people. And
Exactly.
if they,
And I
and
mean,
so I
my
think that's
social,
great
I'm
to
on
know.
social security, so I mean that's my income. But what I get from my dolls and doing that kind of sustains that part of my life, and I'm really
Hmm.
fortunate that I've been able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And when we were offline, we were talking, and you said that initially you had been rerouting the heads, but
Hmm.
you have arthritis now, so you're unable to do that.
I
And
have arthritis. Yeah,
yeah, and I think that I love how you've been able to create this network of people. So you have someone who can help with the rerouting, and you said you have the friends who've been able to make outfits, and so
I
that's,
do.
yeah, that's lovely that you're able to continue your passion.
Yeah, and and I have to give a shout out to my seamstress friends. Patty Hagar makes some beautiful outfits for me. She's done a couple to reproduce similar outfits to the Integrity ones. But I
Hmm.
also love Misha Yarbrough, and I think y'all know Misha.
Oh,
I
Yes.
love
we love our
Misha.
sister Misha. Yes, we do.
And Misha and I kind of go. Actually, Misha introduced me to y'all, I think.
Okay.
Okay,
Initially, I
nice.
believe she did,
Okay. Yeah, I
but
think she
I mean,
introduced me to you. Yes,
I
I
love
found
me
out
some
about you.
Misha. I love Misha. She is just the coolest lady I
She
think I
is.
know.
And we,
So,
we keep
I'm,
reaching out to her. She's saying I'm shy. So we're waiting for her to
uh,
stop being shy enough to
I
come
will, I
on.
have her phone number. I will call her. Misha. I've gotten stuck on projects where I was like, I cannot figure out how to do this. And Misha will just know how to do it. And
Yes.
she'll message me, call me. I know what to do. I'm like, all righty. But I mean,
That is so
just
cool,
so
though.
many wonderful people that are just willing to share,
Yes.
in the dog community, and that's the most wonderful thing about it, and that's what I
Yes.
like about it.
Yes.
Because I had no idea. I thought I was this weirdo 50-something-year-old woman, playing with dolls, and then I got online. It wasn't even Facebook, but I found a doll group for Barbies, and I
Hmm.
was like, oh, I'm in trouble now, and I was. And here we are, what, 10 years later,
Wow.
and strangers until now, talking about everything that we love.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Then you
life is
realize
good.
you realize you're just another 50-year-old who loves playing with dolls, right? You have this whole collective of the same
I know.
people,
Now
who
I'm a
love to
Yes.
play with
65.
dolls.
I'm a 65-year-old who loves playing with dolls, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. At
Never
least
too
they're not.
old. Never too
No,
old.
never too
No,
old. Never too
no.
old. We're playing with dolls that mean something. You
Yes.
know, and they mean something. They take us back to our childhood. And plus, with
Yes.
the
Yeah.
Integrity dolls, the quality of the outfits, that it just brings me back to the original Barbie outfits, the way they make them.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And I know I had talked with Chris about his line and how he kind of got started with it because he was a Barbie fanatic way back. And when he started the East 59 thing,
Mm.
he was looking at the original Barbie vintage patterns and how they were made, and I think that's where he drew his inspiration from, is to kind of bring his line back to that original vintage Barbie feel. That the outfits were just fabulous, and that's
Mm.
kind of how Chris Stokel has done with his
Hmm.
too. So it's that's one thing that's neat about actually going to the conventions, that you get to meet the artists and talk to them about their inspirations
Hmm.
Hmm.
too. So,
Yeah.
and Integrity is really good about putting their artists out there for people to talk to, and they're all so approachable and
Yeah.
really so nice and helpful.
You can kind of see that. I mean, I think Integrity Tory's been like you said, open to a lot of different new artists and very welcoming to
Hmm.
artists. I mean, I mean, I have a little connection with them, so I do. When I started out making my big beautiful dolls,
They're
um,
gorgeous.
they
Tamika showed me your dolls.
oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, Percy was really instrumental in us, even starting that, because he
Wow.
took the time and sat with me and my friend Audrey, and we went to his place where he was living at, and he literally just told us everything that we needed to know about manufacturing a doll. And
That is
very,
so cool.
very, very helpful in that. And he has always, to me, has always been a person that has been very helpful to artists, you know, and I could look back from Jason on, you know, to all these people
Yeah.
now who have incorporated, you know, amazing doll collections within Integrity Toys, and how, you know,
Yeah.
he helps them flourish. And I think that's such a great platform to have, and a great, you know, mentor to have, that a place
It
where you can
really
do
is.
that. You
I
know,
can't
that's
imagine a
so
better
really cool.
mentor.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is
he was
amazing.
phenomenal. Yeah, he
That
really
is
was.
awesome.
So
That
yeah,
I remember
I
when
can
Misha was
understand how you'd
sewing
like
for
this
your
stuff.
girls. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's within the doll community. I think everybody, or at least most of the people that I've talked to, have a really giving heart and a giving spirit about what they're willing to share, with
Hmm.
what they've learned in the doll community, or, how to help somebody, to get something that they want, even, do you know anybody who has this doll for sale? I'm really looking for it. I really want it. Can somebody get me a reasonable price? And people are always willing to at least try to guide them in the right direction,
Hmm.
or,
Right.
you know, so it's really a different world. And my husband, he didn't understand it at first,
Hmm.
but and I would get and it's funny because you know how we are. We kind of, when we really like somebody, we'll send them presents and little tchotchkes and stuff back and forth. And I would get presents from my doll friends, but I would send them too. And he would like, "What did you buy?" And I'm like, "I did not buy this. This is different. No, this is one of the most wonderful." And I will go back to Misha again.
Yes.
Misha sent me. I mean, Misha's made a whole bunch of doll outfits for me and
Hmm.
everything else. But Misha sent me last year an abaya, one of her beautiful gowns, the caftan. She sent me a purple sequined abaya that is
Mm.
absolutely the most beautiful thing I have ever owned. And she sent it out of the blue just because.
Hmm.
And I called her in tears, you know, because she knows I'm a caftan queen. That is what I wear. I'm caftan on. I am covered head to toe. I can have one article of clothing and I'm good. But she sent me this gorgeous abaya, and I have it hanging in my bedroom almost as a piece of art because I just love looking at it. But
Oh, that's
and
so wonderful.
I know the only reason I know her is through the doll world,
Yes.
Yeah.
and just the generosity and the wonderful people that I've
Hmm.
met.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
many of
That,
them.
Hmm.
that's how I met Tammy. I met Tammy
Yes.
through the doll world. I
Yep.
There
met
you
her
go.
through, she purchased one of my dolls, and you know, then she said, "Kid," she contacted me. She wanted to think about doing a doll. She contacted me, we talked, and then we just been friends ever since, you know.
Yep.
So
That's
yeah.
how it goes.
Yeah.
I think my best friends, and some of them I've actually managed to meet at conventions, but some of my best friends I think that I've ever had, and thank goodness for the internet and that we can do what we're doing now. But some of my best friends that I've had in my life have been in the doll community because we've connected outside of the doll community as well. It's like you become friends
Hmm.
at a deeper level. And
Hmm.
it's a fortunate thing, especially with me being retired. I don't get out. I'm one of those old ladies that sits behind the computer all day now, and yeah, but it does give you kind of, it's an entryway to deeper connection with people, and it's unusual enough that we have things we can talk about that nobody else would get, so it's
Yes.
kind of fun that way.
Yeah. Have you? I was going to ask you. So I know you do the Poppy Parker dolls. Are you gonna? Have you thought about like going back to Barbies and recreating them, or you just want to stick with what you're doing?
Eventually I will. I don't necessarily care. And I know I'm unpopular in this opinion, but I cannot stand the superstar Barbies. There's a whole overly sweet era of Barbies there that I just don't like. And I think
Hmm.
some of the newer Barbies are so well done that I really don't want to redo them. That they,
Okay.
Hmm.
especially the collector editions. But there are some
Right.
in there, that they're just beautiful. You wouldn't want to touch them
Hmm.
because of the collectability. Although some of the silkstones would be fun to redo.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
now, so, and I actually still, I think I've done a few silkstones, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
I know I've redone their hair, but I had done some
Okay.
silkstones before I actually got into Poppy, because I think
Hmm.
silkstones was kind of my bridge from the less expensive dolls. Because then I was like, ooh, silkstones, these are gorgeous. Because again, the clothing is beautiful with those dolls,
Hmm.
Yes.
and that was
Hmm.
kind of my stepping stone up into the Integrity lines.
Okay. All
Because
right.
they're a nice kind of in between there too.
Hmm.
And some of the silkstones were more expensive at the time than the Integrity dolls were.
Hmm.
when I first got into it. But yeah, I might get into the silkstones just because
Okay.
I've gotten used to working with the hard dolls now.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I was just
Although I,
curious. Yeah.
but I do. I mean, I still do Barbies for friends because the one thing
Mm.
I can reroute a Barbie because they're soft heads. I don't have to scrub them.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I have got some rerouting jobs that I'm doing that I'll be doing very soon. You know, on the
Okay.
Barbies, it's the integrity kids. I cannot root the hard heads anymore, and
Yeah.
it breaks my heart. But fortunately, I've got my people. So
It's just been so nice to meet you.
it's been
After all these
really nice
years.
meeting y'all. I
Yes.
appreciate you so much. And, I've gone back and looked at a whole bunch of your of the blogs and everything, and I've just it's so great getting to know some of the people that I admire because you've
Mhm.
interviewed my people. You know, the people that I love.
Yes.
So, which is really
Look,
neat.
and now
Yeah.
you're included in those
I
people.
know. I'm
Right.
so privileged. That makes me so happy.
Earlier on, we were asking this question. It seems like we've stopped. So I wanted to know, has COVID affected you? Has that impacted your art and what you're doing?
If anything, I'm probably doing more. I was
Okay.
fortunate because I have isolated. With me, I'm high risk. I've had lung cancer. I have COPD.
Hmm.
I have isolated since day one.
Hmm.
I've probably left my house at this point maybe 6 times since March of last year, and that was only
Mm.
for doctor's appointments.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So, it's forced me to isolate, but it's also given me time to really concentrate on doing what I want to do. So it
Hmm.
hasn't really changed my life other than I haven't been able to see my family.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
when you can't see your family, you throw yourself into things that make you happy to take you away from the unhappy part of it.
Yes.
And I really think that is what's gotten me because if you have been following me, you know I have done a ton of dolls in a year.
Hmm.
I'm constantly posting them, but it's like I think it has sustained me. It gives me something to do when I get upset or, when I can't see my kids and when I miss them, when I
Right.
can't see my grandbabies. Because, I was telling Tammy, I haven't seen my great grandchildren in over a year. And
Mm.
they're all little and they've grown, you
Hmm.
know.
A year's a long
The
time
only
for a little kid.
For a little kid it is. And the
Yeah.
only thing that's changed about me is the length of my hair because I have not been to a beauty salon, you know, in all of that time.
Right.
So
Right.
when my 2 weeks is up after my shot, I'm gonna have some kids in my house before it's over.
Nice. Very
I'm just
nice.
so glad to be, with having that second shot. I'm on the backside of it,
Very
That's
and
good.
I'm
great.
not. Yeah, but I'm still going to be careful because we got to
Yes.
get this under control.
Yes.
It it's too many people have died
Yes.
Yes.
unnecessarily.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Unfortunately.
It has not changed my lifestyle at all, other than
Hmm.
not being able to see family.
Hmm.
Yes.
Probably was one of the lucky ones, in that
Yes.
fact
Hmm.
too.
And your business has sustained the way it has been before.
Yeah. hmm
Okay.
The only
It sounds like it picked up.
It
Yeah.
really kind of well, the busier I get and the more stuff I post, the more people want, or the more people are like. So it kind of feeds itself, I guess, a little bit.
Yes.
Hmm.
And
That's
the more
great.
people want, the happier I am. And again, because it sustains itself. Like if I sell a doll for $130, that means I can buy $100 body, to make the next doll with. I'm not making money. It's just I'm sustaining. And
Yes.
Right.
and if I can do that, then I'm in good shape.
Then you're
You know,
happy.
I'm
Yes.
happy.
That's
I'm
all
a
that's
happy
important.
camper.
That's all that's important.
It's not my living, it's my joy.
So
Well,
Andrea, where can oh, did you want to add something else, Tammy?
you were saying exactly what I was saying.
Oh,
About where to find where can you
Yes.
find my stuff? Well, I have a page on Facebook. It's called Pretty Faces, and I have a lot of dolls and examples that I've posted there. And I can do, I will take custom orders if you have something special that you want. And you can message me through there, or message me on Facebook and discuss what you want, and I can give you a price, on what I can do and how much it would cost. And a lot of times, I think I was telling Tammy that a lot of times I'll post it all up and somebody will say, "Is that for sale?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." And then somebody else will be, "Well, I wanted it." "Well, I can make you one." So I kind of get business that way. And occasionally I will post dolls up on eBay
Mhm.
as
okay.
well. My eBay name is Nunana, Newna.
Thank you. It was
I've
wonderful to
enjoyed every
finally
bit
meet
of it.
you.
Thank you.
Yes.
You too.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much for being in the doll world with us, Andrea. We really
I'm
appreciate
Thank
it.
gonna.
you
Right,
so
sweetie.
much,
All right.
ladies. And y'all
Take
have a
care.
wonderful evening.
You
Bye-bye.
too.
You too.
Cheers.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.